Look at this. We thought we were at the tail end of the herd, and it seems we'd only seen about half of them. And look at this beautiful group, various youngsters in the group, and that one very small one tucked away amongst the others at the moment. Look at that. He wants to play like all young animals. This one is only a month or 2, 3 old. I think we saw the same calf the other day. That female with a sort of big gap in her ear looks familiar. So this one is probably 2 or 3 months old. The small one there, the one that's trying to, I'm not sure what. Get the older cousin's ear in its mouth or something. Just listen to it as well. I just love that sound. Big animals moving through the bush. Look at the little one. Hey! Oh, that's absolutely beautiful. Awesome. The mother is quite relaxed, so that's a good start. Might mean this little guy might come and investigate us a little bit as well. Yeah, he's at the most, I would say, 2 months old, if that. He would still fit under his mum's chest, and the mother is not a very big female. That's probably her second calf. I would guess one of these other bigger ones would be the quite a teenager. This would be about 7 years. Following behind a good. A young. It's actually cooler than it's been the last few days. At the moment, I would say it's probably around about 20 degrees, if that. It's beautiful temperature. I think they're also heading down towards a waterhole, about a kilometer from here, a little bit less than a mile, half a mile or so. There is a waterhole at Torchwood Camp. That might be where they're heading. In the meantime, I think we should get back to this leopard. Beautiful elephant. Glad we could find. I think they're also heading down towards a waterhole, about a kilometer from here, a little bit less than a mile, half a mile or so. There is a waterhole at Torchwood Camp. That might be where they're heading. In the meantime, I think we should get back to this leopard. Beautiful elephant. Glad we could find them. But we have leopard, and we're going into leopard time now. Even Tingana has been a little bit, what's the word, uninterested for a little bit, what's the word, uninterested for making analogies, and I'll probably look at some as you saw before with that extraordinary behavior. That is so beautiful.
Really trying our hardest to coax him into
Of course.
So she's now walking over towards us, folks, and lying down right in front of our vehicle, about 10 feet, so close that we can't really even get a full shot of her body. She's just sat up for us, but you can see how close she is to us. She's started to look on down that way as well. She's heard something. She's been looking down that way for some time, and it's interesting to just see that she's tried again with the behaviour. that very flirtatious behaviour towards him,
Really not interested.
but he has got no interest whatsoever.
All the tricks off the book.
Now I'm more interested in why she's looking down that way.
Well, there's well, again, you know, it's whether she's an estrus or not. She will.
The wind is really picking up,
want to
folks,
get him to cover her.
and
So if she does have
that wind will blow over the microphones a little bit, so I will try and speak up where I can.
with all the males, the dominant males in this area. So this male, another male, possibly even one up in the north where we saw the wild dogs. She has been spending quite a bit of time up that side. So she's playing games with all the males in the area. She's being very, very clever. I mean, at the moment there's so much pressure with the males moving and shifting territories that she needs to make sure that all the males have been sorted out and kind of exactly.
Now we've got a little bit of movement out of our boy here. Not much, but a yawn. He's starting to sit up. We just had a question from Astralina. Astralina, thank you very much for being with us on this. And oh, look at this, look at this, look at this. Okay, Astralina, I've got to come back to you. There's an impala that is just around the corner here and is unaware. Now you can see what's happening. Stand by. Nice and quiet. Nice and quiet. Everything has changed. Everything has changed. A young impala is just in my vision through the woods there. A little bit of vegetation covering the impala is aware that something is there. Karula was lying right out in the open, and that impala just let off a alarm call. But did you see the position? The position. And this is what we were talking about could happen. We said, didn't we? We said earlier, and many people asked the question. We asked the question, what happened if a prey animal walked up, what would they do? And you saw exactly what they would do. They went into hunt mode or stealth mode, and she was just sitting really quiet, upright. She clocked it, and her body position changed. It's just so beautiful to watch. And now we're getting some beautiful, beautiful pictures of Tingana and how big he is compared to her. And he's alert. He's very alert as well. So opportunistic. Any situation could happen here. Where there was one young male, there's possibly other young male impala coming through, but they're definitely looking that way. This is fantastic, something that's changed from us sitting here with flat cats. Flat cats that we were hoping were going to sit up and we were going to see some mating behaviour, which we did. Now moved on to potentially looking to seize the opportunity if a male delivery or home delivery meal gets delivered straight to their door. Tingana's really, really pricked up his ears now. The big bulk of Tingana's shoulders and neck, and that wonderful dewlap, that sort of flap of skin underneath his throat there, which will help act as a a bit of a defense mechanism. If they did get into a fight with another male, that big flap of skin would potentially protect him from a fatal wound. If an animal was to grab him around the throat, that floppy, flappy skin there. But it's a very distinct feature on the big males, called a dewlap. If he stood up, you'd notice it a lot more. You can just see it under his neck there, or maybe when he does sit up, we'll see it a bit clearer. Both very, very alert at the moment.
Efron, there's space for one, make your way. Come in, come in.
Got a great question from Jenny. If Mvula is older than Tingana, and Mvula is actually approximately 1 year older than Tingana. Tingana's about 8 to 9, and Mvula is 10.
No.
So a little bit older, but very, very close.
Maybe not. You might just sit back, let her hunt, and then if she is successful, you might chase her off.
So there's so many different scenarios that could occur if they do hunt. It really is just a matter of seeing what happens. He may decide to, but then again he may not. And if she does, as we mentioned before, he could chase her off. And it just depends on loads of different scenarios that play out. I'm keeping my eyes open, folks, as I'm sort of pausing. I'm just looking through the bush in front of us as they are. The wind is... We have lost sight of the impala, but they are still upright, which is an interesting situation. So these guys are probably the most adaptive cat in the world, I would say. They live in all types of habitats. They eat anything from, goodness me, large hoofed animals to reptiles, to birds, to small mammals, to even down to insects and crickets if they have to. They're very adaptive depending on the food availability. And of course we talked about before how incredible they have that ability to hoist or haul their kill up into a tree, into a larder, and leave it there, feed on it for some time, and leave it there for days at other times. I actually have seen animals here and on other places where they'll have 2 or 3 kills stashed in trees over a period of a week. Other animals normally do come and steal some of that. Let's just see what happens here. Third time lucky. Well. Unbelievable. That was phenomenal.
That's what she's been trying so hard to do.
Well, folks, we waited and we waited and we waited.
When they start to mate, they will mate
And
for 4
so beautiful to see that
20 minutes or so.
when you've got patience, you will see extraordinary behaviour from wildlife, and that was a great example of it. But look at Tingana standing there, the size of him, and that dewlap is very apparent now. Oh, how beautiful. Right in front of us, folks. Guys, I cannot tell you how incredible this is to experience this with you. What you just witnessed there, not many people get a chance in their lifetime to see. Absolutely spectacular here live on Safari Live. Peter has now found something just as incredible. Wait till you see what Peter Pretorius has for you. I'll be right back.
What an afternoon! What an afternoon. We've been looking for these wild dogs. They saw the 3 adults earlier. We didn't even know that the pups were in the area. And VM very awake in the back as always. He spotted a flash across the road. We came back to have a look. And this is what we got. Amazing. Leopards are mating. It's cooling down. I was just about to grab a jacket, but then all this action started. So once again, the afternoon is just taking off with exciting wildlife. This is the same 11 pups. It's incredible. They apparently had 12 pups in this litter, which would have been from one female to another 12 successfully. So they must be phenomenal hunters and phenomenal providers for the pack. Oh, this is just unbelievable. It's amazing to see this. Again, we're looking at one of the most endangered large mammals in the world. They cover massive distances, so they can move and cover ground very, very quickly. And these pups are now getting a little bit bigger, so starting to travel with the adults, starting to learn to hunt and so on as well. So the benefit for this pack is they can go from 3 dogs to significantly more, 12, 13, 14, if all of them survive. And that would make a great benefit for them when it comes to hunting. These pups will learn quite quickly to start helping with that. So lots for them to learn, lots for the adults to teach. And I must just say, VM, well spotted, eh? We could have easily missed this. Of course, those 2 leopard, they're going to be busy as well tonight. Nice and cool, lots of activity expected there. Hopefully in the morning we can find them again. There were some elephants just further back. It's all happening. We'll go a little bit closer. Tex and Voyom for the Farmers Latin again. Alright guys, they're going into thick stuff here. We're going to try and stay with them obviously. Look at how easily we could have missed it. There they are. I think for now we'll definitely be able to get to them. But if they do start covering ground faster, it might be tricky to stay with them. Let's see how it goes. So that's going to get hooked. Worst case scenario, we're going to have to go back to 2 leopard mating, so it's like impossible to choose. So the situation will tell. They're just in there. Oh yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. Poke our nose in here. There we go. There's the adult. Pups are just in the back there. And let's just see what they do. If they seem to settle down and maybe start playing, we'll reposition ourselves. For now, I just want to see what they're doing. Also, Texan, one of the game drive stations from Boyatella Lodge, he's got new guests today, so they would be very excited to see this. Share this with us as well. As what you've seen, this after, yeah. See wild dog, even if it's through the undergrowth, it's very special to see those species. Those are species that people can come on many safaris and never see. Hello Leslie, all the way out of California. Wondering where in California you are, Leslie. Just asking the age of those pups. I don't know exactly. I must find out if anyone has an exact age on them, but I would say about 3-4 months, probably closer to 4 months, just looking at their sort of mobility and movement and size. Just quickly tell Texan where we are. Okay, they seem to have settled down. We're just going to go around a little bit. So we should get now that they're all settled down now, so we could get a beautiful view of them. Let's see if we can get there. Texan, just keep coming till you see my mobile corns are turning to the north, and you follow me in. Okay, let's just see. Oh, they're moving fast. Moving fast into the block between Aubrey's Gallagher shortcut and Boyatella access, closer to the southwestern corner of Aubrey's Road Junction. Oh, I think for now it might be better for us to go back to the leopard. This is very, very thick. We're going to try and stay with him. If we can, we'll show you again. If we can't, then we'll see what happens next. But how amazing, and what a special treat for us this afternoon. Enjoy the leopard. I'll see you again before the end of drive, I'm sure.
Folks, it's just all happening, isn't it? Pete with Wild Dog, how extraordinary. And now Karula's gone back to Tingana. This is the third time we've seen, and she's become much more forceful, and then it becomes that growling, pushing the envelope. He's in a bit of a tricky spot there. And this is the third time. Extraordinary stuff. Always finishes it with that obligatory bite on the neck and a little bit of a scrap, and it's advertising the mating as well. He's a little bit lame on his front right leg there, you know. It wasn't just from that, I don't think. I just noticed he was a little bit lame. He was limping a little bit on that front right leg. I'll keep an eye on that just to see if we watch him walk again. But what we're witnessing here, folks, is mating by leopards live in Africa. Now, I have to pinch myself every time I see something like this. Every time I witness something like this, but to be with you live, having you on my vehicle here, my goodness, my heart is jumping for you. This is a really incredible thing. But then, after they've mated, they go into this potential hunting position. Karula has got a very, very inquisitive and quite a high alert sort of a look on her face there. Just down to my left, there was a herd of impala as we came round the corner earlier, but the wind is swirling around. It's a tricky one. It's a great sort of time for hunting, that's for sure, because a lot of the prey animals can't hear or can't smell correctly. They don't know where a scent coming from. It's swirling around, and also their sense of hearing is impaired a little bit by the leaves in the trees and the grass, wind running through the grass as well. So they use this to their advantage. But what you will find is that many of the prey animals go into more vegetated areas to try and get out of that wind. Oh, there's so many things that it affects, and all we can do is just sit and wait for a little bit longer. I've got a question from, I think it's Brett, Keith, Buffer and a Nut. I'm hoping I've got your names or your call signs right, guys, and I'm hoping I heard that right, and it's a really great question. We did chat about it before. If you've just joined us, right early in the piece, I think I touched on it, but it's a really great thing to be able to talk about it a little bit more. If a prey animal was to walk onto these leopards, would they utilise that situation or seize that opportunity? And the answer to that is yes. You can see from the behaviour here, as the sort of light is dropping, they will take that opportunity for sure. But at the moment, there's only one thing on Karula's mind at this exact point in time, and this is the fourth time in about 15 minutes. He'll bite her on the neck, and then there'll be a little scrap. Incredible. And he's going to walk back up here and sit down, and that is the fourth mating that we've seen in 15 minutes. And now and she goes back into, look at that, see the mode that she's in now? So Gendre has just moved back onto her. That tail flick to me is always a sign of alertness. She's in that mode, and I can just tell by her body posture there, that alert, upright position. She's checking things out, keeping her eyes open, scanning around. And you watch if she sees something, that behaviour, body posture changes dramatically. She'll drop her head and shoulders and go into stealth mode. The tail just moving, and you probably do see a little bit of a similarity with your domestic cats at home. I've mentioned this before. When your cats are a little bit revved up and you're playing with them or something like that, they're chasing something in your house, or they do go with that little tail flick like that. Check it out. Little tiny movement, keeping her eyes wide open, and anything could happen any minute here. We only have to get an impala or a kudu or a wildebeest or anything like that to walk upon, and they will seize that opportunity. So great question to all of you. Thank you very, very much for being with us on the vehicle today. And she's just going into these different sort of modes in between wanting to mate and wanting to hunt. This is spectacular, folks. I'm really, really overjoyed. Got a great question from Valerie in Ontario. Valerie, welcome aboard. Again, great to have you with us. And it's a question that's relating to how long can they hunt when they're pregnant. And absolutely, Valerie, they can hunt right up until pretty much they're going into a very sort of short labour, which they would go into, and then they would hunt right up until then, and then she has to suckle those young, and then she will have to at some point go and hunt again, and keep her vigour up, keep her health up, because she has to produce milk like any mammal, has to feed herself well, and she will then produce milk and suckle those young. Just for anyone's information, it's a very, very interesting position we're in, but I can get, I was just about to put some lights on, but very gentle lights, and that is just a very soft wash, folks, over these two leopards. It's not a spotlight, it's just a wash light that we have, just lightens it up a little bit for us. She's going to come back to Tingana and go for her 5th mating. Or is this her 6th? I've lost count. This. We've got a wonderful question from Cameron, aged 5. Cameron, welcome aboard, buddy. What you're seeing right here is an amazing thing, my friend. Cameron, these leopards together are growling at each other, and you want to know whether they're angry with each other or they're just talking. Well, Cameron, I have never learnt how to speak leopard, but if I did, I'd be able to share with you a little bit more than I'm going to. But the simple answer to your question, Cameron, is they're sort of talking to each other. They're communicating like your mum and dad would, or my mum and dad, or other people's friends, like you would with your friends. You would communicate and talk to them in a language that you understand, which is our language. Leopards have their own language and their own series of growls and snarls that mean different things, and tones that they use, and that basically means that they can communicate with each other. So great question, Cameron, and so good to have you, mate. I love to know that young people like you, 5 years old, mate, you are going to go so far asking questions like that. Thanks for being on the vehicle with me, mate. Incredible. Folks, I just can't explain to you in words how lucky we are. Safari Live rocks. That's all I can say right at this moment. Safari Live rocks. I think it was Judith in North Carolina just asked a great question, and Judith, I do apologise, we were right in the middle of some pretty serious action there, so I didn't want to interrupt them. Judith, you wanted to know about how heavy I think, or we think, Tingana is. Tingana's an adult male, and goodness, there's been loads of different weights measured. Some of the books sort of say around 65, 70 kilograms, which is about in pounds, I think about 140 to 150 pounds. I have heard of leopard heavier than that. He is a big boy. I would probably say around the 60 to 65 kilo mark at the max up there, which is around the pounds that we mentioned, about 140. But very, very difficult to tell as well, because it's muscle mass, so it's not like he's fat. He's going to have a lot of muscle on him, and you remember muscle weighs more than fat. So I'm having a guess at 65 to 70 kilograms, and that's just a stab in the dark, but he could be even a little bit more. Great question, Baron. Thank you very much for watching and being with us. I'm just going to reposition the vehicle down here a bit, folks. Shall we stay? I think we'll stay. A little bit of vegetation here. I'm not sure, they're just here somewhere. There we go, right through there. That's Tingana, just there. Now it's a little bit tricky, folks, because I don't really want to shine my light in these guests' eyes at any cost. But you can see the silhouette just there for a second. I'm just going to turn off just for a second, because this shows you how close we are. Tingana's just lying there. I think Karula is just down here somewhere, but I also don't want to go crashing through the bush there at the moment and disturb them. So yeah, what an incredible experience. Just a little bit of a recap whilst Tingana's just recovering from a very, very energetic 15 minutes. We sat, we saw them. Before we found them, they were flat. Heat of the day. And if it was just one cat, we still probably would have stayed, of course. A leopard's a leopard, whether it's flat or not. And because we've got Peter out and Scott out and everything, there's lots of different opportunities for us. But the reason why I really, really wanted to stay was because there was two of them, and it's a unique situation. It's a situation that I think everyone watching and what we've just witnessed would say that it was worth staying for. We didn't know whether it was going to come off. They could have made it through the night. Anything could have happened, but the thing is that we were patient. And this is what watching wildlife is all about: being patient, sticking with it, taking your time, not changing the behavior of the animal, not overstepping the mark, and that's what it's all about. Here comes Karula just now, beautifully lit there. We're witnessing this again, folks. Oops, sorry. Absolutely amazing to see both of them right next to each other like that, and the sexual dimorphism. So that basically means this difference in size. We've got them right behind a bush here, but I just want to see if she's actually mating or not. So I want to just reposition. Just heard a little alarm call up behind us. Please bear with me, folks, while I just reposition. This way a little bit. So you can see them nicely there. I'm just going to keep some nice distance from them there. I think that wash light's enough. We don't need to be putting any other light on them. One of the other vehicles has just got their spot just at the base of their feet and things like that. I think that's adequate for us to see without imposing on their evening too much. Sorry about that. So folks, I just want to give you a little update. We haven't unfortunately been able to relocate the wild dog, and at this time of the night as well, we would refrain from pursuing them for the simple reason that they're diurnal, predominantly diurnal. Very rarely you'll ever see them out at night, maybe a moonlit night, but I've only ever seen them once on a moonlit night. But we haven't been able to find them again, but you never know what tomorrow may bring. Again, we're doing live rehearsals tomorrow. Rehearsals in the morning, so the show will only be very short tomorrow, the Safari Live in the morning. And I'll update you a little bit more about that till coming to the close of this evening. So they're right down there. It's starting to get a little bit thick there, but I would say that we might be able to just put our lights on there, and that's just our headlights. So they're walking off into the distance, and do you know what? I think I'm going to make an executive decision. It's so thick through there, and it's night, and we've got about 30 minutes to go. I'm going to pull off this. I'm going to refrain from going any further. These two animals have just given us nearly 3 hours of their time. They've allowed us to be with them, very, very close. We experienced an incredible sighting, an incredible encounter. I'm not going to go through that. I'll just have a little look over here and see if there's a very easy route, and we'll just see how we go. But my gut feeling is to let them be. And folks, just while we've got, I think that's the tail of Karula there, just going off into the distance. Or actually it might be it's Karula, and Tingana's on the right hand side, I think. I may be wrong, but I'm just looking at my monitor here. I think my instinct and my ethics and morals would say thank you, thank you, thank you, you beautiful creatures. And you go off into that magnificent night, and it is just a little bit thick through here. I do think we are going to probably come unstuck down there. Looks like they're going down into a drainage line as well, and I really do think we'll probably leave it there. Now, I'm happy. I hope you're happy. I've had an extraordinary afternoon. We're still going to go off and have a little bit of a look to see if we can find some other nocturnal creatures. Wow! I can't believe that. I can't believe that. Thank you for staying with us. Thank you for trusting us, and thank you for supporting us and asking all those wonderful questions. And sometimes when I flounder around with a question, it's because I'm watching the behaviour and I'm trying to get in position or keep my head out of the shot, and I get so excited. Poor Gendry in the back there is probably wanting me to just move out of the way and let him get the shot. But it's been an extraordinary afternoon. Now, we're not finished, as I said. I just want to give you a bit more information. We normally have a fireside chat on a Sunday evening. We're not going to do that tonight. We're going to stay out with the animals. We're going to keep looking for a little bit more. The crew are incredibly tired. We've been working long hours rehearsing for these shows, for the TV shows for Nat Geo, which will still be online as well, exactly like what you're watching now. But I think I'm sure you understand, and I'm sure you support us on that decision. And we should tootle around and have a bit more of a look. I'm on the biggest high I've been on in a long time. Wild dogs yesterday, 2 leopards mating 5 times today. I love this place. I love this country. South Africa is unbelievable. Sabi Sands, unbelievable. Djuma, oh yeah. Right, let's get some lights on here. Safari Live, coming to you live. What a crazy experience is this. Never in my wildest dreams as a child did I ever think this would be able to be done? Broadcast live from a Land Rover with your mates. Beautiful. Right, oopsie. Just have to put my camera away, folks. Please bear with me. We've got a great question from Jean in Los Angeles. Welcome aboard, Jean, and what a great city you live in. I love that place. LA, what a great place. So, Jean, a great question. Do the males ever instigate the mating ritual? I haven't seen the males instigate it like I did. They would never be that mirror image. I've only ever seen the females display like that. Males I will find trailing or covering their territory, looking for females in estrus potentially, but also Karula could overlap into other territories and mate with a few other males as well. So you just don't know. But in 90 to 100 days, if we see suckle marks on Karula's belly, you and me and Gendry and Rohan, oh yeah, we'll feel part of the family. We'll feel a little connection to those cubs. Uncles and aunts. That's probably the situation. But seriously, Jean, the female normally shows that flirtatious behaviour, and she was really giving it her all and persisting as much as she possibly could, and you know what, it paid off. She really did have success. I'm just going to go, we've got another vehicle coming. Sorry guys, sorry. Just turning my lights off. Sorry guys, thank you. And I've never, so basically yes, what happened, she presented herself, she did that amazing sweeping of herself up and down his belly and really pushing him to the point that he then copulates or mates with her. But then there's the ritualistic or the obligatory bite on the back of the neck. I have never not seen it. The bite on the back of the neck, and then the rollover and the real display of sort of claws and growling and snarling and gnashing of teeth. And then it is a great advertisement as well to other males that there's some mating going on, and this male is doing his thing, what he's supposed to do. So yeah, 90 to 100 days. If we see, it may be Tingana.
who knows? But she did walk back over in towards his territory, so who knows? That could go on for quite a long time. But I think we made the right decision, folks. Let me know if you think we made the right decision. You can tweet us at Safari Live or questions at WildEarthTV. In my gut, in my heart, I felt like those animals had just been with us for such a long time and allowed us in their presence for such a period that it's like giving back, leaving them rather than pursuing them and letting them walk off it feels good. I feel good about it. Just let me know your thoughts on that, because it's quite nice to hear feedback and see what we think. Yeah, right. Spotlight. Where is it? Let's put it back down here. That's great to hear, Ellen. Ellen's just said you made the right decision. We agree, and I really, really thank you for that, because I often, particularly with leopard, I often sort of go, oh, should I keep going? It's a leopard. Should we pursue? And I normally would go if the country was a little bit easier to navigate. It's dark. Last thing we want is get really stuck at this point, and particularly after we've had such an incredibly beautiful encounter. Yeah, I feel sated. I feel my appetite is satisfied with magnificent behaviour. So there was a herd of impala here, but I'm not going to put my light on them, of course, but just looking for any other nocturnal animals. There's a lot of wind around at the moment, folks, so I do apologise. I'm kind of yelling a little bit, and it's quite hard to hear. Okay, so let's keep going. Okay, I think whilst I just get out of this windy spot here in this really open part, we'll move down to another little area that I like to do for the last sort of 20 minutes on quarantine. Pete is in a drainage line, and Pete is like a bloodhound, so he'll be after something, I'm sure. We'll come back to you just now.
Well, we are driving along the riverbed, as Hayden was saying there. Amazing leopard. That's just, I think, any drive always has a highlight. Even the quietest drive I've been on always has something great. But to see two mating leopard and to see wild dogs and pups right in front of us, that's just been an epic game drive so far. And I might have to go as far specific Mr. Peter Braat and Alex. They have fine-tuned things a bit and effectively just given us a whole different place, a whole bigger range that we can drive around in again. So that for me is also very exciting.
7 o'clock. Yeah.
Find things down in the riverbeds, we can actually go and see them. Also very.
So being in a drainage line, Pete's probably got a bit of bad signal there, and it's pretty tricky, but sometimes you've got to go into those locations to find creatures. He's got an instinct. Pete's an incredible person in the bush to be with. Just putting my earpiece back in, folks, sorry. Incredible person to be with in the bush, and he's just got this sixth sense. If he's in that drainage line, he'd be in there for a reason, but I'm sure the signal's not fantastic there for him. So we'll just carry on and have a little bit of a look around here, and I'm sure when we get signal back, we'll cross back to him. Well, it's been a fantastic afternoon, hasn't it? Goodness me. Just on a high, on an ad. Bit of a wind up tonight, folks, as well. Hopefully that isn't going to mean, we want it to rain. Of course you want it to rain. The rain is a necessary part of existence in any habitat. There was some form of moisture in nearly all habitats on the planet. But We just want it to hold off for a little bit, please. But it's on its way. I remember last year, and you probably, I'm sure, you know, I watch Safari Live when I'm in London. I have Safari Live on all the time, and when I can. And I've seen the whole team do shoots and get in the rain cover and have little chats and things like that. So you just have to adapt in those situations. But you'll understand, I'm sure, because hundreds and hundreds of thousands of rands worth of, or US dollars worth of equipment on this vehicle, in the back of it, and on top of it, and all throughout it, and it doesn't really like water. So a nice elephant just here. So sorry, now the situation with elephant that I think I mentioned the other night was interesting, that your vision as a diurnal primate, which is what we are. See, there's another boy, and there could be another boy, and I don't want to drive down there and cut off potentially the group or the bachelor herd. I think they're bachelor boys by the looks of things. I can smell them. There's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful smell in the air when those elephants, we're downwind of them and they've just gone up. Oh wow, 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 wow. It's a super smell. It's like a musky, sort of a sweet smell. I can see another one just through there somewhere, and I can hear some just through there. The wind has dropped a little bit. So what you do when you pull up, I just do want to have a quick look that we haven't got one right next to us here, because it's very important just to survey your surroundings. Yeah, so you could smell this incredibly strong smell. So that indicates to me that either the first individual or the second individual, I think, are just caught, you know, a wet sort of secretion between the second individual's legs and the temporal gland down the side of his head there. It's called the must gland. Now, I'm sure all the presenters have told you this before and mentioned it, but it's always worth mentioning, particularly for people that have just joined us, or if you didn't quite catch it last time. Must, M-U-S-T-H, M-U-S-T-H, must. And it's a secretion or a gland that basically exudes this very, very pungent sort of a smell, secretion that smells very pungent, sorry, and it is an indicator that the animal is sexually active. Now when that situation is there, they're a little less tolerant, they're a little more quirky, one could say, with their behaviour, but you can normally judge it. Big elephant bulls are pretty handleable most of the time, but you just got to keep your wits about you and just be very respectful. But it's an incredible smell, and I've also got other wafts of beautiful night bush smells right now coming over us. So just I love to do that little sensory update right at the end of each evening, because it's great. And it's silent, except for an elephant just over there crunching through some sticks or some branches. You know what? I reckon we should go back and see if Pete's got signal. I'm sure he has, and we'll be right back with you.
Yeah. Hello everyone, welcome back to the site. So we just spotted something. We're just tricky to get into the right position. Just up on the branch there. It's a little bit far for me to pull the branch down for you to see better, but that is a little dwarf lion, a small lion, a chameleon. And you can see just in the time that we've stopped now, having a bit of light on him, he's changed to a greener color. Let's try and get the light a bit better perhaps. And I hope he's going to find himself a branch a little bit closer to the tree to sleep on, because it's quite windy and he's sitting out on the proverbial limb. So if he got himself a branch closer to the sort of tree trunk itself, he might actually have a better night's sleep. But either way, he's happy. Little flap neck chameleon. Actually not a little one, he's a decent size, he's probably 2 years old already. Really nice now in the summertime, November, December, once the rains have sort of arrived properly. You can sometimes find little chameleons like that, but when they've just hatched and you get them tiny, I mean, when I say tiny, I mean, you know, like that part of your finger size, really, really small. It's a lot of fun when you spot them. You spot them sitting on grass twigs, you know, grass stems on them. What do you call that actually? Not the blades of grass, but the actual, the stems of the grass. You see them sitting on it, just these tiny little things. Alright, well, some more elephant, lots of elephant around. Sorry, I'll just take this road. Lots of ellies around, lots of breeding herds, and we've got lots of breeding herds around. Inevitably, you'll find the big bulls following them, and most of all, the bulls that are in must. As H2 was explaining to you there, it's a very special sort of state for the bulls to be in. And various ways of telling it, but smell often is the easiest. Just to come back again, maybe you've just joined us for the last part of the drive. We had an excellent afternoon. Those two leopard, Tingana the male, Karula the female, they should be around tomorrow still. Touch wood and cross fingers, because they are mating. That's normally something that can continue for a few days. Obviously all of us are hoping for that, so it'd be great to spend the next few days following and watching them. And then after that, they will both be very hungry. And the closest, most reliable food store, food supply, sorry, I was going to compare it to a store, would be quarantine. Lots of impala there, we saw zebra there today, you know, lots of things around there. So if we're lucky, we could have them around for a few days. The wild dogs, same story. Quarantine, great area for hunting. They actually tried to hunt there just after we left them the last time. Brent and Scott were driving back towards camp and they saw them flash across the road. That was just after sort of dark already. So my prediction, or my guess, or both, would be that in the morning we've got a very, very good chance of starting the drive with wild dogs. 5:30 Central African time when we kick off. It's just getting daylight. The sun rises about 22, 25, well, 22 to quarter to, somewhere there. And it was beautiful when we found them the other morning, exactly at the waterhole down in front of where it's at the lodge. So definitely try and join us for the first part of the drive tomorrow morning, because I have a feeling it's going to be good. Very good question, referring to the wild dogs. Anna Marie, guys, remember when you send in questions, it's always nice to let us know where you're from, because in this case, for instance, Anna Marie might be from South Africa, in which case your name will be Anna Marie as opposed to Anna Marie. So always let us know if you don't mind where you're from. Always nice to know where you all come from. You were asking, Anna Marie, what are the chances of the survival for these pups into adulthood? And I would say very good. I mean, typically, you know, they don't all make it, as in the case of lions with their cubs, or leopard and so on as well. But it seems the adults are doing a very good job of raising them, keeping in mind there's only 3 adults in that pack, 11 pups. But the pups are now big enough to start moving with them and even be close by when they hunt. Not quite big enough to help hunt yet, but they will learn quickly. Very intelligent animals. And I'm sure that with a little bit of luck, they might well all survive, which obviously will be great. I'm just going to dim the lights down. There's some nyalas running down the road. We don't want to blind them. And there's a game drive vehicle. I wonder who that might be. It's one of the game drives. I'm going to quickly say brief fella. I think it might be Texan. We spoke to him earlier, so we wouldn't need to stop then. Put this down quickly. Aubrey, how are you for? Very good. Sorry to be so quick. We are live at the moment, but I'll come say hello tomorrow. Guys, have a great safari. We'll see you in the morning. Watch out for those dogs in the morning. They're going to be drinking water in front of your camp. That's Aubrey. He's the other guide at Djuma Lodge. He's normally guiding for Galago Camp or Galago Camp. Texan guiding for Boyatella. And both of those guys are really good friends of mine. I've known Aubrey now for 14 years. He was a tracker with me for a long time. He's now guided for many, many years. Texan as well. Texan's a great guy. I have a lot of time for him. An amazing family as well. His wife and 2 daughters. Stunning people. So yeah, and really I'd say, good for all those pups to make it to adulthood, or at least for most of them. It will depend on food. Food should be plenty. We're now going into summer. There's lots of animals around, but also the baby impala season is coming, so that gives them a good window of hunting opportunity. You will well remember, those of you that were here for last year's Big Cat Week. And Marie, if you were here, you might remember. You not might. Let me be a little bit more specific of what I'm saying here. If you were here, you would remember, because we saw 2 incredible wild dog hunts. One at Buffelshoek Dam, and then with Hayden, the other one up to the Buffelshoek boundary. So it's a good time for lots of food around, and a good time to be hopeful for the wild dog's future. That's a specific fact. Awesome, thank you very much. Georgianne from Illinois, thank you very much. Wondering where in Illinois actually. I spent some time in Champaign, Illinois, the university there. Georgianne, just saying that this pack were 5 adults. Sorry, something bit me on my ear. 5 adults, of which 2 have passed away, 1 from a snake bite. But these 3 have survived, and the 12 pups, correctly as you said, they were 12, now 11 of them. So let's hope they all make it. Get themselves up to a nice full-size pack again. This is Philemon's Dip, one of our best leopard spotting areas. VM and myself were talking earlier. It's always exciting driving through that dip, because on many occasions find something good there. Good question, Rachel, and I would actually like to ask that question back at anyone who'd like to look it up for us. Rachel from New Jersey, just asking how many wild dogs are left in the wild. And Rachel, to be honest with you, I haven't read any recent numbers, recent meaning in the last 2, 3, 4 years. So if a couple of you that are into this, Georgianne maybe, or who was it just now that would, I get confused with all the names, I apologize, that were giving us the info on this pack. If you could quickly maybe let us know what are the estimated numbers of African hunting dogs, African painted dogs left in the wild. My guess would be about 5,000, 5,500. That's where the numbers were at the last time I was reading on it. Difficult to know the exact numbers. Obviously in some other parts of Africa, the sort of study of them and the sort of keeping an eye on them and following them is not as well organized as in South Africa. You get them in Namibia as well, northern parts of Namibia, Botswana, the Delta obviously is still a haven for them, various other parts of Africa. But The last numbers I knew were sort of 5,000, 4,500. But I would love it for you just to get back to me on that. If you can confirm for me, see what the latest estimated numbers are, I would appreciate that. Yes, thanks VM. We're almost at the end of drive, and as you can see, we have a vehicle here, and I have a feeling I know where it is, and perhaps you might even jump from this vehicle over to him, and he can say goodbye to you just now. But first, I'm going to say how's it to him, because I know that
my friend,
Mr. Turner.
How are you? What's up, Mr. Good
I'm
to see you.
just breaking here.
How are you, Luke?
You had a great afternoon.
Oh my goodness me!
Yeah.
Just stumbled upon. Remember, I said I didn't know where those cats were really. We just drove around, and then as I was heading towards Bufflesilk, I heard it was right where we were just about to pass, and
You heard them?
oh, not really, but we sort of saw down that way. Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Extraordinary.
Fantastic.
Absolutely extraordinary. And
then eventually her effort sort of paid off. It seems he was playing a little bit hard to get.
Very, very persuasive, our Karula. And you know Karula better than anyone, mate. I was telling everybody how incredible your relationship is with them.
Yeah,
with
I'm just glad to see that she's got plans.
She's got plans. We saw six times in about 15, 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes.
Okay.
Amazing. Textbook, but she was amazing. She was all over him, and he was just
Fantastic.
like this. Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
And then he cottoned on. It was time.
Fantastic.
And then they spotted an impala just walking on, but it was great.
I heard it was very good. We had the dogs.
I know.
We did some magic spotting, and in the morning, I think we're going to have some activity around here.
I can feel it.
Guys, from my side, thank you very much for a great afternoon. It's been a lot of fun, Hayden. Enjoy it. Enjoy the last few minutes with Hayden. See you later.
Cheers, mate. Take care.
Cheers, guys.
I love those little accidents. He's a great friend, and just a great, very, very connected with the bush, Pete, and he really does know these cats on Djuma and Arathusa very, very well. So great knowledge, and I'll get some information off him tonight about the history, and I learned so much off all these wonderful presenters that we work with, and I have this great privilege to be on this team. It's just a lovely, lovely thing. It's great to sit around the fire and talk about what you saw and share the stories and so on as well. Well, what a day. What a day. I think I'm probably just going to head up and just park up for a little bit and get you guys nice and comfortable just to say farewell. I've actually seen a line up here last time I was here. It's fantastic to come along here and come across some line one evening. Very, very incredible stuff. So we're up on quarantine. I'm just going to pull up here on the side, just have a little farewell with you. Let me just. Alright, so let me just pull up here and close with you. I'll just leave that on. So folks, the great thing is also Scotty, who I just get energized when I watch Scott in the bush. He's just an incredible guy to watch. So it's great to have him on board today. But Scotty's word on the street is, or the Bush Telegraph, is that he reckons that he's got a funny feeling that the Birmingham boys might cross over into our territory, into Djuma soon. So fingers crossed there. wrap up from me, and I'm going to say farewell from Rohan and Jondre as well, and thank you guys for being there with me today to experience that. But the whole thing about Safari Live is you. Your connection and our connection right here, the two of us, is what it's all about. Being able to have those experiences with you is absolutely 100% what this is all about. It's the experience. And it doesn't matter, we drive around, we don't see anything, but it's us together on our vehicle, all of you doing it together. Leopards like I've never seen here. What a pleasure, what an experience, what for me in my heart, just I'll never forget it. So I'm going to say we were lucky, but we were also patient, and we showed the right persuasive sort of behaviour of ourselves today, just to sit there and watch. See you soon. I'm not sure when, but it's been great.